A clumsy maneuver by the captain of the Sajuda 5, whether the current was strong or not, charging straight into a vessel that was already docked is difficult to justify. Just looking at the passengers' shocked and bewildered expressions is enough to understand what a close call they experienced. When these giants of the sea get a little too close for comfort, the result is the piercing sound of steel scraping against steel. Guiding vessels, weighing tens of thousands of tons through the confined space of a harbor, is a task that demands absolute precision from the pilot team. Another case of someone forgetting to calculate the clearance height before passing under a bridge. The crane mounted on the vessel acted like a giant hook, tearing apart and destroying its own cabin after striking the steel bridge girder. The resulting property damage was certainly significant. Crossing through this fog bank is like entering a world of nothingness. Without modern navigation technology and radar assistance, mariners would almost certainly lose their sense of direction and face an extremely dangerous risk of collision. A head-on impact with a massive sheet of ice at 11 knots would be enough to crush ordinary structures, but for this steel-hulled giant, it seems little more than a morning workout. A docking attempt by the Gipanis that literally went off the rails. Instead of coming alongside smoothly, the vessel chose to plant itself straight into the concrete seawall, making for a far less graceful end to the voyage. When the base of a crane standing dozens of meters tall shifts off its center of gravity, the accumulated kinetic energy can cause the entire 1,000-ton steel structure to collapse in a chain reaction. The footage captures the devastating destructive force as the crane crushes the container blocks below. Mistakes like this often stem from poor coordination between the harbor pilot and the tugboat team responsible for controlling and slowing the vessel's momentum. The footage shows the fishing vessel Goldberg, registration number TG 965, in a state of complete loss of dynamic stability. Water appears to be flooding into the hull through structural damage or through cargo hatch openings that may have been compromised, causing a sudden shift in the vessel's center of gravity. The vessel develops a severe list to one side before eventually capsizing and sinking. The presence of a large number of seabirds surrounding the vessel suggests that it was actively harvesting or processing fish at the time. Accidents involving fishing vessels of this type are not uncommon. They often occur when an excessively heavy fishing net is being hauled in during rough seas, causing the vessel to list to one side. If a large wave then strikes the exposed side of the vessel, a capsize can occur within just a few minutes. The head-on impact released an enormous amount of kinetic force, driving the vessel's bow upward and tearing through reinforced concrete structures along the port. This is a nightmare scenario for any captain, because once a large container ship loses its ability to slow down at close range, even an emergency anchor drop is unlikely to prevent a collision. What makes this footage so alarming is that the vessel appears to be moving very slowly. However, due to its enormous tonnage, the force it generates is virtually unstoppable. The entire wooden deck, concrete pilings, and protective railings of the pier are crushed like paper beneath the immense pressure of the vessel's hull. This is an ultimate test of both the vessel's structural integrity and the captain's seamanship. When facing head-on waves like these, the vessel must maintain just the right speed, not too fast, to avoid excessive hogging and sagging stresses that could threaten the hull structure, and not too slow to avoid being turned broadside to the waves and risking a capsize. Judging by the vessel's severe pitching motion, the deck reinforcement system is likely enduring loads measured in hundreds of tons. Diana! A mid-sized fishing vessel enters the harbor's mooring area, but appears to lose all control of its speed, likely due to a stuck throttle or a failure of the reverse propulsion system. The vessel crashes directly into the L-shaped corner of the dock, striking it with enough force to shatter wooden pallets and destroy several concrete support structures. The moment fishermen and dock workers panic and scatter in all directions clearly shows how sudden the incident was. The impact force causes the vessel to heel sharply to one side. Accidents like this often result in double damage. The vessel may suffer hull damage along its sides, while the port infrastructure can sustain structural cracking beneath the surface from the immense pressure of hundreds of tons of moving steel.
Hey! 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 Oh my God!
A luxury yacht worth more than €1 million has just been launched from the slipway into the water. However, only 15 minutes after entering the water, the vessel begins to lose stability dramatically, gradually listing to port before completely capsizing to a 90-degree angle. One man is forced to climb onto what was once the starboard side of the yacht, now serving as an improvised deck while waiting for rescue. This is a technical disaster in terms of shipbuilding and stability calculations. A vessel that capsizes immediately after launch is often the result of a critical design flaw involving weight distribution, with the center of gravity, G, positioned too high relative to the center of buoyancy, B, or because the ballast tanks were not properly filled and balanced during the launch process. Turning a luxury yacht into a floating wreck within a matter of minutes is a devastating embarrassment for any naval architect or engineering team. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos.
Ecco, video.
Thank you for watching Dock Crash. Remember, a small mistake on the water can lead to a serious accident. Learn from what you've seen today, stay safe, and we'll see you again in the next accident analysis. Stay tuned.